Are increased property taxes and increased insurance premiums quietly killing your real estate dreams? Well, folks, you're not alone. I've been talking to a lot of you this week, and a lot of you are in a pickle because you didn't know the hidden costs. You didn't know the insurance could go up as high, and you didn't know the property taxes could be increased every year. So whether you are selling your home or whether you are a buyer, you need to understand these costs because it could be a major deciding factor at what you do next. Today, we're going to dive into how much these costs are rising, where it's being hit the hardest, and what you can do to stay ahead. The number one thing that I see most people complaining about right now, and buyers and now homeowners are like, wow, we had no idea, is when you go to purchase your home and you're using a mortgage, you'll sit down with your lender and the lender will say, yes, this is your mortgage payment. It's fixed for 30 years or it's fixed for 15 years. Your mortgage payment ain't going to change. And then they tag in property taxes and insurance. So a lot of you are paying your mortgage payment and it's including those property taxes and it's including that home insurance. So you pay one big number to the lender. It's called an impounding account or an escrow account. And they, at the end of the year, they pay the property taxes, they pay the insurance company, and you're just going off, minding your own business, not worrying about anything. So where a lot of people are being hit right now is that the lender did not tell that buyer or now homeowner that, hey, by the way, home insurance can go up and property taxes can go up and your mortgage payment might be altered because these two components can increase. Your mortgage payment staying the same, but the property taxes and the insurance can go up and you will have a higher bill. So most of the people who make a mortgage payment are making the assumption that it's not going to go up by much. Well, you will not believe how many homeowners across the United States of America are being impacted significantly by this. And if you are one of them, please comment down below. This is a very real problem. Now, a lot of these homeowners have automatic debit. They're not getting these bills and they don't have lenders calling them on the phone saying, hey, by the way, your property taxes went up and your insurance premiums doubled. So we got to increase a little bit more of your payment so that we have enough reserves at the end of the year to pay for your home insurance and to pay for your property taxes. So instead, what happens is the homeowner will get a call or a bill saying, hey, you're 10 grand short or you're $5,000 short because there wasn't enough money set aside. And they're furious. Like, what are you talking about? You told me my mortgage payment was not going to change. And the lender will say it hasn't changed, but because your insurance costs have doubled and because your property taxes have gone up significantly, we're now in a deficit. And some of these homeowners are like, I don't have that extra cash sitting around. It's a big, big problem. And a lot of buyers don't know that. They just don't know that. And if you are selling your home and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to go move to a different state, please understand and get quotes ahead of time on your insurance costs and how much that property tax can go up per state per year. So there's a maximum cap in some states, like in California. The maximum amount that we can increase our property taxes is 2%. Now, we have a lot of bad things out here in California, but that's actually one good one. A lot of the states out there, and I'll put it on the screen in just a minute, don't even have caps, which means the state can increase the property tax as high as they want. I'm feeling for you folks out there. This is not fun. Let's put this chart on the screen for you. As you'll notice on the left-hand side, it lists all the states, 50 states in USA. And what we are explaining in this chart is the maximum amount that a state can increase to property taxes. Now, some of you are living in states where the state has a cap, meaning they can't go past a certain percentage to increase your property taxes on an annual basis. And some of you are living in states where there's no caps. And others of you are living in what we call homestead states, where if you're living in your home and it's your primary residence, they call that your homestead. And what that means is you might qualify for an exemption to keep your property taxes low. So I will link this chart down below. I did my own research, so it may not be 100% accurate, but at least it's a close guide to go off of. But please do your research before you're purchasing, because a lot of you buying homes right now had no idea that property taxes could increase on an annual basis. Now, insurance costs have risen across the nation. I mean, we can't argue about that. That's just a fact. The question is why. So there's a lot of reasons why. We can talk about all those insurance companies are greedy and they're just trying to gouge us. And there might be some truth in that. I don't know. But I can tell you this. If you're going to go insure an inexpensive item, it's not going to be as expensive as an expensive item. So, for example, if you have a fake diamond ring and you want to insure it, it's not going to be as expensive to insure if you had a 5-carat diamond ring. We all can understand that. So what I don't think a lot of us are really getting our head around is that our home values have doubled and tripled over the last 3 to 5 years. And so the insurance companies are now having to insure a much more expensive home. Not only that, but these homes are getting older. More problems are arising. So in my area, we are notorious for having pinhole leaks. So if you get a pinhole leak in a home and you claim it through your insurance, you got your solid wood floors that you have to replace. I mean, it's an absolute nightmare. So the cost for these insurance companies have increased significantly. And of course, they're going to pass that cost on to you. The higher the risk, the higher the premium. Now, if you live in a state that has a lot of weather or a lot of stuff that happens to it, then you're going to have higher insurance premiums. So for example, in Florida, you guys have your hurricanes, and in California, we have our earthquakes and lots of fires. And in Texas, you guys seem like you're always flooding out, right? So in those areas, you're going to have higher insurance premiums because the probability of something not so good happening to you is going to increase. Whether you agree with this or not, apparently the weather patterns are changing and lots of natural disasters are popping up everywhere. And so insurance companies are putting that into their calculation in their insurance premiums. Now, some of you are out there thinking, I'm not going to pay for home insurance. It's a ripoff. I mean, good Lord, I've been living in this house for 20 years. I've never had one claim. I'm just throwing money down the drain. If you own your house outright, that can be an option for you. Now, I always like to, limit my risk, but ultimately it's up to you. However, if you have a mortgage on your home, the mortgage company requires you to have home insurance because they want to make sure you're protecting their asset, okay? Because technically, they're lending money to you. You sign an agreement stating that you would have home insurance. So if you stop paying your home insurance, the insurance company will immediately notice the mortgage company, and the mortgage company can foreclose on you because you are in breach of your agreement, okay? They want to protect their asset. This is something that they're leveraging, and you need to agree to the terms. I know, it's terrible. So we have a lot of homeowners out there not being able to pay for their bills, and they're in a really, really stressful situation. Got to understand the impact of this because guess what? There's no way around it unless you want to sell your house, which a lot of people are selling their home because they're like, listen, I just can't make that next property bill, or I just can't make that next home insurance. I'm just getting out. So I'm going to share an experience that I had when I was selling a home where the homeowner made a huge insurance claim on their property, which they probably shouldn't. And you know how it is. Like, you're living on the property and you're like,
oh, well, I've lived in this house for all these years and I've never used the insurance, so I'm going to get my money out of my insurance.
So what had happened is there was a minor slab leak in the house. They immediately caught it. It was nothing big. And so they called their insurance company out. And the insurance company says, okay, well, let's remediate. And so they kept pressing the insurance company. And so what ended up happening is the house was repiped, the cabinets in the kitchen were all done, the floors were done. At the end of the day, it was over $100,000 claim on the insurance company. And boy, was their kitchen beautiful. And it was. But to be fair, what ended up happening is that was the worst thing that they could possibly do, because when they went to go sell their property, they had to reduce their property value by hundreds of thousands of dollars because no one wanted to touch it with a 10-foot pole because it was very difficult to get home insurance on a home that already had a significant claim on it. Not to mention, if you do make a claim and you're a homeowner, understand that that insurance claim follows you, right? Because insurance companies are looking at your history as well. Are you a serial home insurance claimer? If you are, we don't want to insure you. So just be aware of that. And by the way, in this particular situation, the home insurance, we could not get under $10,000 a year. Folks, there's just not as many people that can afford that home. So they had to take it at a price. So please be cautious if you are a homeowner. And I'm not saying do, secret things on the side, but some of you are like, well, what the heck? Let's claim this through our insurance and let's get a new remodel out of them because what the heck? We've been paying for all these years. That could really come back to bite you. Just be very cautious. I say, if you're claiming something on your insurance company, it's because you have no other choice. And do understand the downsides of doing that. So quick commercial for those of you who are new to my channel. I do have a free resource link down below. It has checklists for staging, home inspections. There's a lighting guide. There's questions to ask your agent when an offer comes in. It's all very, very helpful. I haven't met one person who says they don't love it. It's free. It's linked down below. And of course, if you would like to interview some realtors in your area, whether you're buying or selling a home, we do have a referral network. It's linked down below as well. We'll give you a few agents to interview. And of course, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. So slow. But don't worry, I'm not giving up because I'm truly blessed to hear from you all, and I'm thrilled to see how many people I can help. All right, that's enough. Let's get back into the video. So the mistakes that I see a lot of buyers making is they go ask the home seller, hey, home seller, how much do you pay in property taxes and how much do you pay in home insurance? The seller gives them the information and the buyer's like, oh, it's not so bad. I can afford that. And then as they're about to close, they realize their property taxes are significantly higher because they're based on the closed sales amount. And of course, that home seller bought probably at a lower level. And also their insurance costs are much higher, meaning the buyer's insurance costs are much higher, because what's happening right now is insurance companies are grandfathering in their long-standing clients, which means they're not increasing their premiums so high. So for example, I have been a long-standing client of State Farm, 20 years now. Never made a claim because I know better. But nonetheless, my insurance premiums haven't gone up that much, thankfully. Woo, thank God. But nonetheless, if I were selling my house and a buyer was going to purchase my home, they would have considerably higher property taxes because the property taxes are based on the closed sales amount, which would be higher than when I purchased it, at least hopefully. And also that property tax would probably have to be insured by another insurance carrier because State Farm is no longer insuring in this area. So if you are a buyer, it is super important. In fact, it is the very first thing that you should do before you even do your home inspections is figure out what your insurance costs are going to be and how hard it's going to get insurance. Now, another little fun tip is even if you're getting quotes from insurance companies, that's just a quote. Now, when you are about to close, it has to go through underwriting, and sometimes it's getting kicked out and saying, sorry, we decided we're pulling out of this area. So if you are purchasing a home, ask them to bind the insurance policy immediately for you. That means it's already gone through underwriting and there will be no surprises at the close of the transaction. I really want to drive this point home. If you are a buyer, you need to bind your insurance immediately. Most buyers get a quote. Okay, a quote is crap. Quotes are crap. You need to bind the insurance. Bind it. A quote is just a quote. There's no agreement. You don't want to go at the very end of your transaction and then you go, okay, insurance company, I got this quote, we're closing, let's go bind it. What could potentially happen, which is happening a lot now, is the underwriters at the insurance company, I know, we didn't even know that existed, will say, oh, sorry, we're not going to give you that insurance anymore. That was just a quote. Our company has now made a statement that we are no longer insuring in the zip code. And then you as a buyer have already removed your contingencies. You got your earnest money at risk, and now you got to go shop around and go pay expensive insurance costs because you didn't bind your home insurance. So the first thing you should do is bind that home insurance if you get a good quote, and you do not remove those contingencies ever until you have insurance that is bound. You can thank me for that later. And for you homeowners out there, oh my goodness, please pay your home insurance on time. Do not be late. Because if you are late, that home insurance company wants to drop you, and they will. So please have your bills automated or mark your calendar with a big red star reminding you to pay your insurance on time. I can't tell you how many homeowners, they just get busy and they don't have their bills automated and they forget to pay their home insurance and their home insurance drops them, even if they're one day late. It's a big, big problem right now. Oh. So right about now, you're probably like, lady, just tell us what to do. So first of all, if you have a mortgage, you have to have insurance in place. So the only thing I can tell you is get quotes. Maybe you increase your deductible. Maybe you reduce your limits. Whatever the minimum requirement is for your mortgage, that's where I would go just in the short term because you don't want to lose your house in a foreclosure. Going through a foreclosure is not great for your credit. It's not great for your soul, and it's not great for your real estate legacy, okay? You want to hang on to that house as much as you can. No foreclosure is no good. Never had to go through a foreclosure, but man, have I been close. Now, if you have really high property taxes because you just got a tax assessment or a reassessment and you are in disagreement with the value they're assessing on your property, you can always rebuttal it. So how do you do that? You go to your tax assessor's office, or there's probably a tax assessor's website where you can download a form or pick up a form and it will say, hey, I want to contest this value of my home. So they'll ask you for specific comps. You fill out this form. And in my experience, at least in California, I was like blown away with how cooperative they were. So I went through this process in 2010 because I bought top of market in 2008. Let's just say I bought my house for $1 million. And in 2010, my value was worth, let's say, $750,000, right? So I get this tax bill and it's basing my property taxes off that $1 million number. And I'm like, wait a second, I don't want to pay property taxes at $1 million when my housing value is, let's say, 750, or that's what the comps at least designated. So I went to the tax assessor's office. They gave me a form to fill out. I put the comps, the supporting comps, and no word of a lie. 2 weeks later, they said, hey, you know what? We agree with you. So they sent me another bill that showed my new property tax calculation, which was significantly lower, which made me feel better, right? Helped me pay for my property monthlies that year. But here's the catch. Once they do that, at least in California, you have to fight every year for that lower value. It's just not automatically put in there. So it's not like, oh, okay, your house is worth 750, and then the next year we'll just keep it close to that. No, the next year we'll go back up to $1 million if I don't fight for the comps again. So if you are in a situation where you really believe that your property tax assessment or the value of your home is not assessed properly, go to your tax assessor's office. Now, I watch a lot of videos. A lot of them say, oh, go to your CPA or go to your realtor. Trust me, they don't know anything about this. Just go to your tax assessor's office or go to the website. Most states have their own tax assessor's website where you can download the document where you can rebuttal the value of your home. That's helped so many people. So please don't be shy. Please do that. Take matters into your own hands. Fight for your right. Okay, this is the part where I'm probably not going to gain a lot of friends, but I'm a straight shooter. I'm just going to tell you how it is. When I was raised, my parents always told me, Audra, you don't know the value of a dollar. You just spend too much money and you get this high lifestyle. And, I just want you to know that you should have a slush fund or an emergency fund. And if you ever get into trouble, you ain't coming to us. We're just telling you, okay? You need to live below your means. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, that was very good advice. So any of you watching, I'm going to tell you that's not bad advice. And I wish I would have listened to him because back in 2010, I had, 20 some odd properties, ended up selling all of them because I panicked. The market was correcting and I was just super depressed. It was really a dark time and I didn't see any way out of it. And all I'm telling you, if you're in a position right now where you just don't know how you're going to pay your bills, all I can tell you is I promise it's just a temporary thing. And I know you can't see it right now. And all I can say is my older, more mature, wiser self, if I could tell myself, some advice back then when I was making these very rash, fearful decisions, it would be this. Number one is, you could get a roommate, Audra. You should have got roommates that could have helped you pay your bills, right? I didn't want to do that. Or number two, I could have rented my property out. Even if I were to get a lower rent, I still was making enough money to cover most of the expenses on most of the homes. But I didn't do that. Didn't rent my primary property out. I sold it like a knucklehead with a lot of equity in it. It was just so stupid. And the third thing that I wish I would have told myself is I needed to reduce the lifestyle I was living. I was riding fancy horses and I had my kid in private schools. And I thought that was just what I needed to do to survive. And in hindsight, although that was a very privileged thing, and I really am glad I stuck my kid in a private school and I really enjoyed my horses. But a lot of my real estate wealth was completely eliminated and I had to start over. So over the last 15, 20 years, I've been trying to recreate my wealth very slowly and very hesitantly because I was scared. I didn't want to jump back into real estate. So if you're in a situation right now where you just want to sell your house because you just can't see through all the darkness, I just want to give you some things to consider. Now, without a doubt, the market is correcting. And when things get really difficult, that's when, it's not a time to be fearful, but to be committed and to have a strategy. So if you are in a place where you just can't afford your mortgage, maybe it makes sense to rent it. Maybe it makes sense to get some roommates. Maybe it makes sense to reduce your lifestyle or get a second job. And I know people hate hearing that, but I'm just telling you, this is the biggest regret that I have when I sold all my properties is that I wasn't willing to consider other options. It was just a pull the trigger, get out. Anyway, I don't know why I ended up on that soapbox. Those are hard things to hear, and it's hard to make some adjustments when it's difficult to do so. And I also know that, because I've been there, is when things are really bad, the last thing you need is someone telling you what you should be doing or what you can't be doing. It's so annoying. But you don't really know me. You don't live with me. I'm just here to let you know that I care about you. And I promise you it will get better. It always does. I'm old enough to know that, life goes in cycles. And I just don't want you to regret this cycle, because I know the last cycle, when the real estate market corrected and when things started going crazy, I made some decisions that I truly regret. And I don't want you to make those same mistakes that I made. I know that was a long one. It was a tough one. Please comment down below. Let me know what your property taxes and what your insurance costs are doing in your state. I'm just curious. I'm going to see how accurate my chart is. And also, please subscribe to my channel. I'm just trying to get this information out to the masses. Thanks so much for your support over the years. I truly appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.